Hi everyone. In this video, I will talk about the 2024 Prius. On a practical level, there's nothing new here. The new Toyota Prius is the most sensible car anyone can buy. Same as it's been since the second-gen stormed Hollywood. Over the past decade and a half, any Fusion or Camry or Volt or Civic buyer likely would have been better off with a Prius. It has delivered everything a commuter needs. The difference with the new one is that people might actually want it, too. The fifth-generation Prius approaches the market not with a new platform, but a new philosophy. The change was apparent upon its reveal and notable enough to draw worldwide headlines. The Prius, the iconoclastic dweeb car, now looks sensational. It also has a bigger internal combustion engine than the Honda CR-V and makes nearly as much horsepower as a Civic C. That 194 horsepower output, 196 horsepower if you go for AWD, makes it 60% more potent than the last one. It also transforms the experience. Accelerating uphill in an old Prius involved enough vibration and mechanical hostility to make a fighter pilot wince. The car itself abhorred haste. The new one welcomes it. It'll hit 60 in 7.0 seconds, which is faster than a standard Corolla, and feels happy with the work. Credit increased torque across the board. The engine now makes 139 lb-ft, the front electric motor generator adds 152 lb-ft, and the rear electric motor on the AWD model throws in another 62 lb-ft of torque. Given that this is a hybrid, those peaks all come at different times and draw from shared power reserves. The numbers do not add up in any meaningful way. But the new Prius feels more than powerful enough for daily work, and the upcoming Prius Prime plug-in will be properly quick. The problem was never just about power, but the intangibles. The last Prius I drove, a 115,000-mile, third-gen model that my housemate had rented for a car camping ski trip, was hateful to drive. It wasn't just boring, it abhorred any attempt at fun. No matter how ironclad the arguments for owning one are, one stint behind the wheel of an old Prius proved conclusively that I could never tolerate such a bumbling, groaning, ponderous car. No one should or can expect a sports car experience from a mass-market efficiency-oriented hatchback. But cars like the Mazda 3, Honda Accord, and Volkswagen Golf have consistently proven that an appliance car doesn't have to drive like one. Toyota is finally getting that message. Huck the new Prius onto an on-ramp with intent and the whole thing holds up. There's not much if any steering feel, come on now, don't get ahead of yourself, but the front MacPherson strut suspension has been reworked for sharper turn-in and more predictable cornering. The steering is also heftier and far more precise, giving you the confidence to tuck in the car's nose and let the rear follow through gracefully. The rear motor on the all-wheel drive model now makes 40 horsepower, up from a barely perceptible 7 horsepower in the previous model, so you can also get on power a bit earlier and the tail rotates ever so slightly. Rally car heroics are far from the question, though, as the AWD model is more of a nod to cold climates rather than a real low-traction all-star. The Prius chief engineer told Road and Track that the rear motor is not designed for sustained high-power operation. Since the internal combustion torque doesn't make it to the rear wheels, that means the car will occasionally be forced into front-wheel drive mode. Toyota does not comment on future product speculation, but the company's executives and public relations personnel seem surprised when asked about a potential Woodland or TRD Pro or whatever adventure trim. Apparently, the company hasn't heard of the model's popularity with car campers, though it latched on to the adventure van phase with the hybrid Sienna Woodland. Regardless, Toyota's newfound focus on dynamics has paid massive dividends here. In one generation, the Prius has evolved from among the worst driving new cars on sale to a respectable, predictable everyday car. It hasn't eclipsed the Honda or Mazda sedans and hatches, but it's running in that league. No enthusiast will pine to drive one, but those that want a Prius for other, left-brain reasons will find it perfectly agreeable on a winding road. On a straight highway, it's spectacular. The new model is firmer than the average Toyota buyer expects, but dispatches bumps in a thud and ungermanic way. It's utterly relaxed as a cruiser, quiet and refined at 70 miles per hour, with just a bit of road noise creeping in.